Okay, really quickly, a disclaimer. Before I start this very important video, I'd like to point out that the people who are shown in this video are perhaps not part of the groups of very sick individuals, these very, very large groups, okay, who are doing the activities that I'm referring to in the video. Okay, so remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about the fact that 9 million people starve to death and die of hunger-related issues. This is a real-life purge going on. I don't know how much you people understand when it comes to geopolitics, right? The globe in politics, geopolitical, okay? But people are dying because of the policies of developed nations. The guns they buy are hand-me-down guns from developed nations, okay? The companies that are there, quite often, are oil companies that are backed or come from developed nations, okay? The drugs they use during their civil wars, they come from the drug networks that were really pushed by developed nations. I mean, we can go on and on about the connections here. Their forms of government are modeled after developed nations' forms of government, and the developed nations insist that the underdeveloped nations have a hand-me-down system. They don't want them to be equal or better. They want them to try to be like them and to be a second-rate version of them. And the result is obvious. These people are being killed at a certain rate, and it's obviously there. It's also there in the wordplay. But if I talk about the wordplay, immature people who are in sororities and fraternities and fraternal organizations and social clubs and political and government and corporate groups are going to team up with their crazed mental health allies and pretend that I'm crazy. For example, is it a coincidence that the word AIDS, when scrambled, is said? If somebody said, hey, I don't think we should do what these developed nations say, and I think that we should care for our people, okay? The idea is target people like those people with AIDS. Make sure that you set the stage for them to get AIDS. Make sure that they don't have the services they need and the educations they need. The education they need to avoid these things. Make sure that the social, economic, and political circumstances are ripe for them to get AIDS. It's not a conspiracy theory to point to the fact that the World Bank is concerned with banking matters on a global stage and how people use money. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, same thing. The World Health Organization, the United Nations, their job is to be concerned with these things. Now let me put it in perspective for you. Of $70 trillion in wealth stored up in America by 22.5 million millionaires and billionaires, for just 30 billion of the 70 trillion. Okay, just a speck. Just speck, a grain of sand on the beach. We could end homelessness here in America and have money for a food program coming in at $30,000 per home on average, which includes land purchases, running water, AC, mattress, okay, bathroom, you name it. You know, they don't do that. That's called purging. Things are often cheaper to build in the Philippines, in Africa, the Middle East, and places in Asia, so on and so forth, but they don't do that because they're purging. Now that I've definitively proven beyond a reasonable doubt that people are dying from preventable deaths, and it's by design. There's organization, right? Organized slaughter, premeditated and calculated. Methodical and organized slaughter. And the word slaughter is laughter scrambled. What are the odds that the word slaughter is laughter scrambled and the word said is AIDS scrambled? What are the odds? What are the odds the word prepare is pre-rape scrambled when everyone knows attractive women are extracted from these nations and given to rich people as their secretaries, as porn stars, what have you? It is impossible for that to be a coincidence. Compare, mock rape, which goes back to said. Are you going to compare how it could be to how it is? Then we're going to rape people, you know, them saying that they're going to rape people and they're going to mock people. Okay? The word pirate, right? Skull and bones is rape, it's scrambled. What are the odds here? They were intimidate in time I date. When developed nations and their proxy, Janjaweed, militia allies, coerce, intimidate, blackmail, threaten, maim, assault, and kill people. People tend to do things their way, and that's called rape. When they have sex, it's called rape by coercion, rape by deception, coercive sex, coerced sex. There's no excuse for it. The word consent, consent. What are the odds? These people are raping and murdering on a large scale. Now zoom in on the fraternities. What is a fraternal organization? If this is going on a large scale, and a lot of these guys, the corporations are run disproportionately by people in social clubs and fraternal organizations, what does that make them? Are they honorable? Are you kidding me? That is the anti-honor. That is the anti-human. That is inhuman. That is indecent, indecorous, and all out disgusting. You people organize the misery. Misery. You people organize it. And people suffer. And then you have your silly holidays and your silly fraternal organization, your Greek societies, who also used to purge. I just saw a video, briefly, where it said that the purge is based on a true story in Rome. And we live in a neo-Greco-Roman society where there's Greek fraternities, there's a Senate, like the Romans had the Senate, and people are purging and they're doing their bacchanalia thing. They're mocking people while they're starving to death. Ever heard of the N-word jokes? Some of them have to do with black people being slaughtered and starving to death, and saying they stink when their dead bodies on the ground and things of this nature. And they say they're ignorant because they won't bend over for the slave master and be a second-rate slave master fast enough, so lots of them are dying. However, they're going to die anyway. It's percentages, it's kill rates. They intend to kill a certain amount of colored people and rape and so on and so forth, and they say whoever scrambles to bend over willingly for them, they're more likely to survive, but they're not. Because nobody likes a fair-weather traitor. So token minorities get massacred at high rates also. Look at the pandemic. It is stupid to do what they say. It is stupid to pretend that these sororities and fraternities and these even these sports organizations are purging, because they're reinforcing the culture. Now think about it the other way around. For those of you who are white and Jewish, you're like, oh, he's exaggerating. Imagine if it was black people doing it to you, or Nazis doing it to Jews. Okay? And they're in fraternal organizations that are representing the symbols and the sarcastic behaviors that are like the movies that show people being purged while people are actually being killed by policies and the military-industrial complex and otherwise. Tell me you wouldn't be quick to say, that's what's going on, unless you were too fucking scared, like a token minority in one of their sororities or something. Too fucking much of a Judas. Too much of a fucking horrible person to tell the truth about this massacre that's taken place. Shame on all of you for not rallying to me. Shame on you for embracing the ill-gotten gains of mass rape, mass murder, exploitation, mass drugging, child molestation, you name it. Shame on you people. Disgrace, disgrace, shame, disgrace.